Chapter 77. Profound and Unfathomable. Yunjin took a glance.
顾景洪. Dual water and earth spiritual roots. Early nascent soul stage. Spirit beast. Mudworm beast. She-earth attribute. Mid-grade. Foundation establishment stage. Cultivation technique. Blood. C. Art. High grade. Xuan level manual. Extremely fast advancement speed. But the more one cultivates, the more twisted one's personality becomes, and the stronger the craving for blood. Mastered skills. 6th level 8 trigrams. POM low grade, Sui leveled. 6th level 8 trigrams. Step, low grade, Shui level. Proficient in level 2 formations. Has preliminary mastery of level 3 formations.
Yunjin read with a hint of disdain. That's all. Isn't Gu Jinghong's list of skills a bit too short? Even she had more skills listed than this. If Gu Jinghong knew what Yunjin was thinking at that moment, he would definitely feel extremely wrong. They say not to bite off more than you can chew. Although cultivators have long lifespans, cultivation is a very difficult path. For him to be able to train the formation techniques to the second level alongside his own cultivation was already quite an achievement. Yunjin continued to nitpick. And he even had a spirit beast, yet it was still in foundation establishment after raising it for so long. Her own Gungun could probably reach foundation establishment in no time. Useless. This Gu Jinghong is truly useless. If not for her desire to torment him, finding such a servant would really lower her standards. But for now, with only Gu Jinghong as her servant, she could only make do. While Yunjin was tallying her gains, many others were spending a sleepless night. Minheng immediately reported to his sect that Yunjin had modified the foundation establishment pill recipe and successfully used it to refine a perfect quality pill. At the same time, many who had witnessed this miracle also reported the matter to their higher-ups. Inside a Baicao Pavilion's secret chamber, Chen Changrong and Yue Zhao sat across from each other, drinking tea.
Brother Rin, good thing your junior sister left quickly. Everyone is looking for her outside.
Chen Changrong said with feeling. Yue Zhao smiled faintly.
My junior sister is focused solely on alchemy. She never bothered with such mundane matters.
Oh.
Chen Changrong was surprised.
So your junior sister actually works hard in private.
Yue Zhao sighed, speaking against his conscience.
As the saying goes, the reason you can appear effortless is because you've shed enough sweat in the shadows. In this world, nothing comes without hard work. My junior sister's private efforts are more than I can bear to watch.
Indeed, he truly couldn't bear to watch, because Yunjin had hardly put in any effort at all. Chen Changrong nodded repeatedly.
So that's how it is. It seems being a genius isn't so easy either.
Yue Zhao calmly nodded. Chen Changrong's gaze shifted, and he probed.
Brother Rin, this perfect quality foundation establishment pill is no small matter. This market will likely become lively soon, and many people will want to know your identities.
This Renwoxing was clearly a disguise. But in the cultivation world, altering one's appearance was perfectly normal. If someone forcibly probed it, it would be considered provocation, and could easily lead to conflict. Since Chen Changrong wanted long-term cooperation with Yue Zhao, he naturally wouldn't do such a thing. But those gathering here for the foundation establishment, pill might not be so polite. To uncover Yue Zhao and Yunjin's true identities, some people would likely resort to any means necessary. After all, finding them first meant gaining the upper hand. If one could bring such a genius under their wing, never mind anything else, just the ability to refine a perfect quality. Foundation establishment pill would greatly strengthen their sect's foundation.
They want to investigate.
Yue Zhao looked utterly disdainful.
Then let them come.
His arrogance was so blatant that Chen Changrong was momentarily stunned. Cautiously he asked.
Brother Rin, could it be that your backgrounds are not ordinary?
Yue Zhao smiled faintly.
Could ordinary families cultivate an alchemy genius like my junior sister?
The logic was flawless. Chen Changrong had no choice but to refute it.
Chen Pavilion Master should have looked into my background. I began appearing at this market about 3 years ago. That's because my junior sister and I were out traveling. And 3 years ago, we happened to arrive here. At the time, my junior sister was in seclusion, devoted to researching alchemy techniques. I had nothing to do. So I came to the market to pass time and make a little money.
岳昭 said casually. 陈长荣 's heart jolted. He had indeed investigated this. 任我行 and found that he only began frequenting the market 3 years ago. Moreover, this man has sharp business acumen. Many merchants held him in high regard. Were it not for his lack of backing and capital, he would have already built a great enterprise. But thinking more carefully, how could someone with such business acumen have no backing? No capital? Without a family's nurture, such instincts wouldn't appear from nowhere. Chen Changrong was suspicious before, but now he understood. He understood everything. This Ren Woxing was doing business here, purely to kill time. He never intended to devote himself to it. He and that mysterious alchemist must hail from an upper-level sect. Perhaps even a super sect or a holy land. The thought made Chen Changrong shiver. If that were true, was his previous treatment of Yue Zhao sufficiently respectful? Seeing Chen Changrong's face turn pale, Yue Zhao had no idea what wild scenario the man imagined. He simply sipped his tea with an even more inscrutable air.
Brother Rin,
Chen Changrong said, wiping cold sweat from his forehead and lowering his voice.
soon, many people will be asking me about your identities. How should I respond?
Yue Zhao lowered his voice and spoke slowly.
Pavilion Master, Chen, let me ask you, do you want Baicao Pavilion to handle this pill business exclusively, or share it with others?
Chen Changrong's expression shifted.
Brother Rin, you mean?
We signed an agreement giving Baicao Pavilion priority supply. My junior sister and I intend to honor it. But if others come to pressure you, and you can't handle that, then, even if we wish to keep the agreement, we won't be able to.
Yue Zhao said pointedly. Chen Changrong nodded repeatedly. The previous beating pills had been one thing. He was able to keep the covetous people at bay. But the Foundation establishment pill, the impact was simply too great.
Pavilion Master Chen,
Yue Zhao said soft.
you alone can no longer hold the stage. Let the higher level figures come forward. I'll say this in advance. My junior sister and I are not concerned about our identities being exposed. At most, we can just leave this place, and I doubt anyone would dare touch us. But in that case, our pill business would no longer be possible. If you still wish to cooperate with us, Baicao Pavilion will need to think of a proper solution. Now, the pressure is on you, not us. Do you understand, Pavilion Master?
Yue Zhao's gaze was sharp, his entire bearing radiating the oppressive air of someone in command. A chill ran down Chen Changrong's spine. At this point, he dared not harbor any further doubts. With an aura like that, who would believe he never commanded thousands before? And any sect with thousands of disciples would at least be an upper-level sect. This Ren Woxing's cultivation might not be high, but if he could command so many, his position in that sect was likely one of great importance.
I understand.
Chen Changrong said immediately.
I've already reported this earlier. Now I'll report again and make sure headquarters sends several strong experts over.
Only then did Yue Zhao nod in satisfaction.
Pavilion Master Chen, then let us work well together.
When Yue Zhao withdrew that oppressive presence, Chen Changrong quietly wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. A mere nascent soul cultivator, yet with such a terrifying aura. This Ren Woxing was anything but simple. And that junior sister of his was even more extraordinary. This matter would have to be reported thoroughly. Chapter 78. The comparison is too brutal. After Yue Zhao left, Chen Changrong immediately sent another message to Baicao Pavilion's headquarters. For Ren Woxing and his junior sister, this was just a bit of fun. But for Baicao Pavilion, this could very well be a heaven-sent opportunity. He was certain that headquarters would never let it slip by. In Canglan Kingdom, there is one super sect, 10 upper-level sects, dozens of mid-level sects, and countless lower-level sects. Minheng's sect, the Lieyan sect, was one of the upper-tier sects, famed for its alchemy. The sect even housed the only 7th-rank alchemist in Canglan Kingdom. That young woman's pill refining method was unconventional and unrestrained, yet every time it worked flawlessly. truly a rare alchemy genius. She's still at the early stage of cultivation. If Lian Yan sect can recruit her early, it would be a tremendous boon. Minheng was confident that the girl wouldn't refuse them. After all, the only super sect in Canglan Kingdom, Canglong Sword Sect, was renowned for swordsmanship. It wasn't the most suitable place for an alchemy prodigy. As the only upper-level alchemy sect, wasn't Ye Yan sect naturally a perfect match for a supreme alchemy genius? Minheng had already released a spirit carrier pigeon with the news, and was waiting for his sect's reply. He only hoped they would act quickly. Otherwise, this supreme talent would be snatched away. As a proper sect member and an alchemy pavilion deacon, there were limits to what he could do, and he couldn't resort to coercion. But if it were the demonic or evil factions, the outcome would be far less certain. Completely unaware of the storm she had stirred up, Yunjin had no plans to visit the market for the time being. Even Yue Zhao didn't intend to go in person. Baicao Pavilion would send a trained Thunderbird spirit beast to the agreed location every day. And Yue Zhao only had to deliver the pills to complete the transaction. Although that Thunderbird was only at nascent soul stage, it was incredibly fast. Even most soul transformation cultivators couldn't catch it. And if anyone tried to seize it by force, it has the ability to instantly destroy whatever it was carrying. Thus, no one would ever bother attempting such a thankless act. This greatly reduced the chance of the two of them being exposed. Besides, Canglan Kingdom was simply too vast, and Yunjin's deeds had only spread among the few sects near this market so far. Once word got out on a larger scale, the news would spread across the entire nation, and real experts would start showing up. Even though Yue Zhao temporarily bluffed Baicao Pavilion, he was still uneasy inside. His junior sister's display was far too flashy. When all sides eventually converged here, there would most certainly be a storm. On the other hand, Yue Zhao wasn't overly anxious. As long as it wasn't the demonic factions, most forces would simply want to recruit his junior sister. Worst case scenario, she could just choose the largest backer and join them. He knew perfectly well. Yunjin's talent is monstrous. Tianxing sect is far too small to contain her. Using this opportunity to enter a better sect might actually be the best thing for her. He didn't plan on telling Yunjin his thoughts as she was too sentimental. If he said it too soon, she might refuse to leave. He was also reluctant to part with her. But logic told him this was the best outcome. If she had a more powerful backer, such as Minheng's Lian Yan sect, the higher-ups there might be willing to lift her 3-month death contract. Even Zhao Wuji might not be able to object. Unaware of Yue Zhao's thoughts, Yunjin spent an entire day in seclusion, refining some foundation establishment pills and rejuvenation pills, and handed them over to Yue Zhao to handle. Then, she went to the manual library. Elder Ming was lazily basking in the sun, giving a half-hearted response to the disciples coming and going.
Elder Ming, I'm here.
Yunjin called sweetly. At the sound of her voice, Elder Ming immediately opened his eyes and smiled.
Yun girl, you promised to come every day. Why haven't I seen you these past 2 days?
A disciple nearby, browsing for a manual, heard this and thought it was an opportunity. He cautiously said,
Elder Ming, are you too bored these days? This disciple is willing to come and accompany you every day.
Elder Ming glared at him and flatly spat out a single word.
Scram!
Then, he turned to Yunjin.
Yun girl, come, sit next to me.
He even considerately prepared a chair for her. Disciple, ha!
Emotion point plus 50.
Yunjin gave the senior brother a sympathetic gaze, then obediently sat down. The disciple immediately covered his face, weeping in grief as he left. Comparison was fine. But did it have to be this brutally lopsided? He had no face to live anymore.
Elder Ming, some matters came up and delayed me these past 2 days.
Yunjin explained.
No matter, no matter. You young people naturally have to focus on cultivation. I was only speaking casually.
Elder Ming smiled.
So, what brings you here today? Last time you took 3 sword manuals. That should be enough for now.
I'm indeed not lacking in sword manuals.
Jin said.
Elder Ming, I'd like some botany techniques and manuals for nurturing spirit beasts. I still have 1,000 points. What can I exchange for that?
Elder Ming paused.
You've contracted a spirit beast.
云锦 replied.
I was fortunate enough to receive Senior Dean's favor.
Elder Ming chuckled.
At least he has an eye for talent. If he couldn't appreciate a well-behaved child like you, then truly no one could please him.
Yun Jing could only smile modestly. No helping it. She had to be mature. She had to be level-headed. Elder Ming thought for a moment.
You have a spirit beast. Wanting to strengthen it is normal. The manuals for nurturing spirit beasts are in the library. But they're only useful to alchemists. I suggest you just buy finished pills directly.
Elder Ming, what if one day I can become an alchemist too?
Yun Jing blinked innocently, her face pure and guileless. Elder Ming normally disliked disciples who aimed unrealistically high. But Yun Jing's innocent expression made him laugh instead.
Young people always have great ambitions. All right, I'll help you find a few manuals. If you become an alchemist in the future, maybe this old man will even benefit from your success.
Elder Ming was joking, but Yun Jing responded seriously.
I will work hard.
Elder Ming laughed even more heartily.
Elder Ming, I also need some botany techniques.
Jing said.
What would you need botany techniques for?
Elder Ming couldn't help asking.
There's a lot of empty space on Heavenly Sword Peak. I thought I would make good use of it.
Yun Jing said honestly.
The sect master won't allow botanists from the sect to help, so I can only figure something out myself.
Hearing this, Elder Ming frowned deeply. Zhao Wuji's actions have gone too far. Ever since Niya was injured, he used every means to drive away disciples from Heavenly Sword Peak, leaving it completely devoid of usable personnel. Although there were some spirit fields, without a botanist they could only go to waste. Life on Heavenly Sword Peak was hard, and this Yun girl was trying to ease Niya's burden. This girl's heart is truly pure and good. Elder Ming's gaze softened further. He said warmly,
You have 1,000 points. I'll pick something within that range for you.
After thinking briefly, a few books instantly appeared in his hands. Chapter 79. Cry, cry, all the blessings cried away.
These 3 manuals are specifically for beginner botanists, all at low grade, Huang level. This one is minor cloud and rain technique. Once learned, you can produce clouds and rain, slightly speeding up the growth of spiritual plants. This one is the soil control technique. It can change the soil into the state most favored by the spiritual plant in the shortest amount of time. Lastly, this one is pest elimination finger. During the growth process of spiritual plants, many disasters can occur, and pest infestation is one of the most troublesome examples. This pest elimination finger can help remove pests without harming the plant itself. These techniques all have attribute requirements. For example, minor cloud and rain technique is a water attribute technique. Soil control technique is an earth attribute technique, and pest elimination finger is a metal attribute technique. Normally, botanists specialize in 1 or 2 types based on their own attributes. But since you have all attributes, you can freely choose among them.
Elder Ming spoke, but still gave a reminder.
Xiaoqin, I know you have filial intentions, but being a botanist is not easy. Your talent lies in creating techniques. Don't waste too much time on other things.
Yun Jing indicated. She had many talents. But since Elder Ming was advising her out of goodwill, she naturally wouldn't be ungrateful.
Elder Ming, I'll only give it a try. If it doesn't work, I won't force it.
Yun Jing said obediently. Elder Ming couldn't resist showing a gratified smile. Then, he took out 2 pill formulas.
Pill formulas are precious. There aren't many in the library. For low-tier spirit beasts, I've taken out both available formulas. One is the Spirit Heart Pill formula, and the other is the Soul Stabilizing Pill formula. The Spirit Heart Pill can increase a spirit beast's cultivation and is effective for all beasts, below foundation establishment. The soul stabilizing pill is rather uncommon. It's used to stabilize the soul and is especially effective for spirit beasts that have suffered a great fright. Pill formulas are expensive. Each cost at least 200 points. Are you sure you want to buy them?
Yunjin said without hesitation. The spirit heart pill was a must-buy, since it could directly improve cultivation. As for the soul-stabilizing pill, she didn't know when it might be useful yet. But there's no such thing as having too many pill formulas.
The other 3 botany techniques are cheaper, 100 points each, totaling 300 points.
So, this time, the total cost was 700 points. Yunjin didn't feel any heart touch. She directly took out her disciple token, and had Elder Min deduct the points. After the transaction was completed, Yunjin still wanted to stay and chat with Elder Min. Elder Min smiled.
All right, go back and study. When you have time, come visit this old man again.
Yunjin could only leave for now. On the way, she had the system scan all the techniques and pill formulas. These secret techniques and pill formulas were all relatively low level. Yunjin casually spent a few simplification attempts and got satisfactory results. Very good. She would go try them out in the fields later. When she returned to Heavenly Sword Peak, the bang 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 of the little iron-eating beast ramming trees could be heard. When Yunjin came over to take a look, she saw that several spirit trees, in a row, had been knocked over. Gu Jinghong was standing beside a tree, his face pale. Yunjin couldn't help frowning.
What's a grown man doing sulking around? You'll cry away all of Heavenly Sword Peak's blessings.
Hong? He couldn't help saying.
This iron-eating beast told me to stand next to the tree, so it could practice its aim, but it has no aim at all. Out of every 5 or 6 times it hits a tree, there's always one time it hits me.
Even though it was only a foundation establishment little beast, getting rammed head-on still hurts.
Oh.
Yunjin looked at the iron-eating beast.
Did you come up with this method of practice yourself?
The beast looked a bit embarrassed, and was about to say it wouldn't do it next time. Then Yunjin gave it a thumbs up.
Excellent.
Jipa smile. Jipi Gu Jinghong did inside.
All right.
Yunjin gave Gu Jinghong a slightly disdainful glance.
I'll give you a new task.
For a moment, Gu Jinghong was even a bit excited.
I'm listening.
You must have investigated me, right? You should know about your eldest senior brother bringing 5 people to test my sword talent.
Gu Jinghong nodded. He actually wished he didn't know, but unfortunately, he did. Yunjin smiled faintly.
I suddenly feel like seeing the swordsmanship of those 5 senior brothers again, but I'm too lazy to go watch myself. So my servant you, Gu Jinghong, will go watch for me.
Gu Jinghong was momentarily stunned. Is this human language? She wanted to watch them practice swordsmanship, but wouldn't go herself. And even wanted him to watch on her behalf. Wait. Can this even be done by someone else?
Do you have a problem with that?
Yunjin's gaze instantly turned dangerous.
No problem.
Gu Jinghong immediately replied. Yunjin's smile returned.
Then get moving. Today for each person you must supervise at least 100 rounds of sword practice. Understand?
Hong. At that moment, he finally understood Yunjin's intentions. She still held a grudge and was finding a roundabout way to torment those 5. But, as the saying goes, better them than me. So Gu Jinghong turned and left without hesitation. Yunjin was very satisfied. With Gu Jinghong's notorious reputation, there should be no problems completing this task. This was called putting the right person in the right position. In her past life, someone like Gu Jinghong would have been perfect as a debt collector, guaranteed success in every job.
Master, now that he's gone, I'm bored.
The iron-eating beast clung to Yunjin's pant leg and acted spoiled.
All right, forget about him for now. The mantra I taught you was pretty effective, right? I see your skill level is almost at level 3 now.
At the mention of this, the iron-eating beast perked up, nodding repeatedly, and even eager to show off its muscles. Yunjin patted its head.
Keep that mantra in mind and keep practicing. Now I'll teach you how to increase the proficiency of your roar skill. This time it's also a mantra, but you recite it silently in your heart.
The iron-eating beast pricked up its ears immediately. The master's mantras were just too good, it had to study hard.
This time the mantra is hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, oxygen, fluorine.
Yunjin recited the whole thing in one go. then looked at the iron-eating beast seriously.
Recite this silently, then roar with all your strength. Every day no fewer than 100 times, understand?
The little beast grew anxious.
Master, I haven't remembered it yet. Teach me again.
Yunjin patiently taught it 8 more times, only leaving once she was sure it had mastered it. Soon after she left, the sound of the beast's roaring came from behind her. Yunjin nodded in satisfaction. Such a spirited little beast. In Tianxing sect, a disciple looked at Gu Jinghong in fear.
Senior brother, Gu Double, what is it?
Senior brother Gu had suffered so much humiliation under Yunjin. He'd even become her servant. Who knew how he was being tormented now? He might have been tortured into something even scarier. With his tender skin and delicate flesh. How could he withstand senior brother Gu's torment? Gu Jinghong expressionlessly grabbed the disciple by the collar and dragged him off to find the next person. Once he found the second one, he strung the 2 together and kept looking for his next target. By the time he got to the 5th, the scene became Gu Jinghong cold-faced, dragging 4 people strung together, his gaze sharp as if ready to kill. Chapter 80. For a sword cultivator, it's basically impossible. The 5th person trembled all over. Do what? What's going on? Did Gu Jinghong finally snap from being humiliated and completely lose his mind? No, wait. If he's gone crazy, shouldn't he be going after Yunjin? Why is he coming for them?
The last one, I finally found you.
Gu Jinghong curled his lips into a cold, shadowy smile. Too terrifying, all 5 of them suddenly felt their legs go weak. Then, under the gaze of everyone present, Gu Jinghong strung the 5th person together with the rest and dragged all 5 of them off toward the back mountain. The surrounding disciples shivered in fear.
Save us, save us.
The one tied at the end of the line waved his small hand in desperation. The others could only tremble, watching helplessly as the group vanished completely into the trees of the back mountain.
Emotional point plus 50. Emotional point plus 40.
Yunjin was still on her way when she gained a small wave of emotional points. She blinked. Indeed, along with her showing off in public, if her brilliant deeds spread, she would still receive emotion points from time to time in daily life. But they wouldn't be as concentrated as this. Yunjin couldn't help but ask curiously.
System, where did this wave of emotion points came from?
Upon investigation, the source of emotion points is Gu Jinghong.
The system's mechanical voice sounded.
When the master has matters, the servant labors. Emotional points earned by Gu Jinghong have been added to your panel.
Ge Yunjin instantly grinned. Good, this system was quite reasonable. If it said agreed the emotion points would be given to her, they would be given to her. And this Gu Jinghong wasn't bad either. She only told him to go watch some people practice swordsmanship, and he could generate this many emotion points. It was already 500 or 600 points combined. Could it be that he had a talent for harvesting emotion points? Yunjin sank into thought. Tianxing sect. The disciples who had witnessed everything were still trembling.
Senior brother Wu has gone mad. What should we do now? Should we find someone to rescue those poor senior brothers?
We can't be sure right now. If we report rashly, the elders might not intervene.
Then what should we do?
After much discussion, the onlookers decided to follow and take a look. They said there's strength in numbers. If so many of them went together, maybe senior brother Wu would exhaust his spiritual power before he could kill them all. Right? The group encouraged each other for a while, then headed into the back mountain together. By now, quite some time had passed. If those 5 senior brothers had unfortunately met their end, then they could only. They were mentally preparing for the worst when, from deep in the forest, Gu Jinghong's sinister voice rang out.
What are you doing? Were you starved? What is your hand shaking for? If you don't do it properly, I'll personally cut your hand off. Tired already? If you don't want to practice, that's fine. It's been a while since I've drunk human blood. I can start with yours.
The crowd felt even more terrified listening to this. Going around the grove, they saw a large open space. In an instant, the atmosphere froze. Giant black question marks appeared over everyone's heads. What's going on here? Gu Jinghong made such a big scene, looking completely insane and ready to kill. It turned out he was just making those 5 practice swordsmanship. Hearing movement, Gu Jinghong suddenly turned, showing a dark smile.
Oh, another batch. If you've got nothing to do, join the practice.
The 5 immediately looked hopeful. Crowd. Ha!
Senior brother Wu, I have other things to do. I'll leave first.
My spirit chickens are about to lay eggs. I'll leave too.
Didn't you raise roosters?
Shut up.
The group scattered like startled birds and beasts, leaving behind the 5 unlucky disciples in despair. Why did it have to be them? Gu Jinghong said coldly.
Why did you stop? Did I tell you to stop?
The 5 shuddered all over and quickly resumed their practice. Once, 5 times, 10 times, 20 times they wanted to escape but couldn't.
All right, take a break.
Gu Jinghong said coolly.
Thank you, senior brother Gu.
All 5 breathed a sigh of relief.
3,
Gu Jinghong suddenly said. The 5 were a bit puzzled.
2,
The 5 continued to be confused.
1. All right, break's over. Continue practicing.
Gu Jinghong said with a bright smile. 5 people. This is pure torture. One of them couldn't help begging.
Senior brother, if we've done something to offend you, please say so directly. But don't torment us like this.
Gu Jinghong said indifferently.
The one you offended isn't me.
They froze, then suddenly understood. Right now, with the master-servant contract in place, the only one who could make Gu Jinghong obey was Yunjin. The 5 felt like crying without tears. That Yunjin is far too vengeful. Gu Jinghong glanced at them. A small knife appearing in his hand, as he played with it casually.
Next, are you going to practice swordsmanship? Or let me have a taste of your fresh blood?
He tilted his mouth into the classic villain's smile. The 5 trembled. They decided that continuing to practice swordsmanship was fine. They all knew that, as fellow disciples of Tianxing sect, Gu Jinghong probably wouldn't actually harm them. But whenever this senior brother tilted his mouth and lifted an eyelid, for some reason, they felt like he was capable of anything. Sect rules or not, what if he really snapped? Better not risk their lives. While Yunjin listened to the sound of emotion points rolling in, she also watched her sword technique proficiency skyrocket, and she let out a quiet laugh. Indeed, if a pervert is used in the right way, they can be very effective. If she went herself, with her kind and beautiful nature, she probably couldn't bring herself to force people, and the proficiency would never have risen so fast. Meanwhile, Yunjing also found Yue Zhao, and asked him to take her to Heavenly Sword Peak Spirit Fields. In the beginning the fields only had some naturally growing spiritual sunflower seeds. Now, most of the sunflower seeds were sold. The plants were also cleared away, leaving only barren lands.
Little junior sister, did you come to the fields for something?
Yue Zhao asked curiously.
Eldest senior brother, last time Pavilion Master Qing gave me some seeds.
Jin said.
I plan to plant them and see if I can grow some spirit herbs. I also exchanged for a few botany manuals so I can try them out.
Yue Zhao.
You're serious?
Yunjin looked a bit puzzled.
Otherwise, when have I ever been joking?
Yue Zhao felt somewhat helpless.
Little junior sister, I know you are blessed with extraordinary talent, but human ability has its limits. We are only a single person. It's impossible to learn everything. Becoming a botanist is not something you can just decide to do. Generally speaking, a botanist needs to have an extremely strong affinity for plants, whereas sword cultivators focus on killing and destruction, which tends to scare plants. For a sword cultivator, it's basically impossible to.
Before Yue Zhao could finish speaking, Yunjin raised her hand slightly. A small rain cloud suddenly floated over from the sky.
Minor cloud and rain technique?
Yunjin deliberately called out. In the next moment, rainwater infused with spiritual power began to fall. Yue Zhao immediately shut his mouth. It wasn't that he had nothing left to say, he was just afraid the rainwater might fall into his stomach, which wouldn't be sanitary. Chapter 81. A little innovation. After simplifying the minor cloud and rain technique, the entry requirement is to take 100 deep breaths and fully enjoy the fragrance and beauty of nature. So, on the way, she easily completed the condition. This is the perfect chance to fleece her eldest senior brother a bit. Sure enough, 200 emotion points were credited directly to her account.
Eldest senior brother, what did you want to say? That sword cultivators generally what?
Yunjin asked. The Yue Zhao gritted his teeth.
I was going to point out that sword cultivators are particularly well matched with botany cultivation as an auxiliary discipline. This pairing is simply unbeatable!
I think so too.
云锦 said enthusiastically.
Eldest senior brother, I discovered that my minor cloud and rain technique pairs perfectly with sword techniques.
月昭 previously swore, for the rest of his life, he absolutely must not let Yun Jin act smug in front of him again. However, at this moment, he still couldn't help asking.
Isn't the minor cloud and rain technique used to nourish plants? How does it pair with sword techniques?
Think about it. The minor cloud and rain technique is, at its core, a type of water element sword technique, isn't it? And the best part is that water generates lightning. So, within the minor cloud and rain technique, there would be a trace of thunder energy. This thunder energy is of the purest yang, and it pairs best with sword techniques. If it's a water element sword technique, under the enhancement of the minor cloud and rain technique, the power doubles, truly wondrous beyond compare.
Yun Jin spoke with total confidence. Yue Zhao listened in a daze, finally saying,
The minor cloud and rain technique can only be used on plants. What you're talking about probably can't be done.
No one had ever heard of using the minor cloud and rain technique to assist sword techniques. But Yun Jin knew it's definitely possible. Because after learning the minor cloud and rain technique, the system gave her 3 simplification paths. For the first time. The first was the same as the original, a botany technique, solely used to support the growth of spiritual plants. The second began to deviate. Performing the minor cloud and rain technique would create a water element domain. Any water element techniques within the domain would be significantly amplified. Naturally, that includes water element sword techniques. The third shattered all expectations. After casting the minor cloud and rain technique, she could capture thunder from the clouds, condensing it into a single azure lightning bolt with terrifying offensive power. It should be noted that lighting spiritual roots are an exceptionally rare variation. Surprisingly, this simplification path allowed the derivation of a lighting technique directly from the minor cloud and rain technique. An ordinary and harmless botany technique then became an overwhelmingly powerful offensive technique. Yun Jin currently needed all 3 simplification paths. So she used some simplification attempts on each, then fused all 3 together, naming it New Minor Cloud and Rain Technique. Right now, her new minor cloud and rain technique was at entry level. To advance it, the simplification condition was to converse with a water element plant to receive its blessing, greatly increasing cultivation speed. Talking to plants was way too awkward. The key point is that she hasn't even planted any spiritual herbs yet. Yun Jin had already decided to send Gu Jinghong to other herb gardens to do this task. As long as it wasn't her, being embarrassed is fine.
Eldest senior brother, second senior sister's lotus sword technique is a water element technique. Let me cast the minor cloud and rain technique over it, and you can take a look.
Yun Jin said with a grin. Yue Zhao hesitated for a long while. He was afraid Yun Jin might actually succeed and make him eat his words again. But he was also afraid Yun Jin might actually succeed, and he couldn't witness it.
Go ahead.
Yue Zhao said decisively. Holding her sword, Yun Jin went under the rain cloud. As the spiritual rain fell, Yue Zhao focused on sensing the area around her. Suddenly, his expression changed. Just now, he felt the water element energy on Yun Jin increased slightly. The water element was enhanced. This area of effect type technique could easily be ranked at C or even D level, and would be fiercely fought over. And yet, Yun Jin had comprehended it from a mere low tier, Huang level minor cloud and rain technique. This is unscientific. Under the cloud, Yun Jin took the opening stance of the lotus sword technique. Petals bloomed one after another, and the domain nourished them, making the sword qi they emitted all the more formidable. Yue Zhao could clearly tell the difference between Yun Jin's own ability or the domain's enhancement. So, his lips kept trembling as he muttered,
Minor cloud and rain technique.
You're fucking telling me this is the minor cloud and rain technique. This is one of the most basic botany techniques. It's something nearly every water element botanist would have learned. If you grabbed one at random and told them this was the minor cloud and rain technique, they'd smash their head into a wall right in front of you. Yue Zhao thought that turning the minor cloud and rain technique into an enhancement domain was already absurd enough. But then, At the finale of the lotus sword technique, Yunjin suddenly raised her hand and shouted sharply,
Nine heavens mysterious thunder, heed my command gather.
Yue Zhao shuddered and quickly looked up at the cloud layer. Astonishingly, lightning was actually gathering in that small patch of dark cloud. Once the lightning had accumulated, Yunjin gripped her sword, drew the lightning into it, then shouted sharply,
Break.
The sword tip pointed into the distance. Bang! A massive boulder shattered. Before the fragments had a chance to scatter, they turned into powder. Yue Zhao reached out and closed his own gaping jaw. Hey. There was once a saying that water gives birth to lighting. But who would dare believe water techniques turning into lighting techniques?
Eldest senior brother, how's my minor cloud and rain technique?
Yunjin put away the technique and walked over grinning. Yue Zhao was silent for a moment before asking,
Are you sure this is the minor cloud and rain technique?
How could that be?
Yunjin said instinctively. Oh, it isn't. Yue Zhao felt inexplicably relieved. Good. The minor cloud and rain technique indeed couldn't be that monstrous. And then, Yunjin said righteously,
I've already given it a name. New minor cloud and rain technique. It's got a new in the name, you know.
New minor cloud and rain technique. New my ass. Yue Zhao screamed inwardly. Isn't this still the minor cloud and rain technique? Did the heavens think his transmigration journey wasn't thrilling enough? So they sent this little junior sister to punish him.
Eldest senior brother, I still have 2 more techniques, the soul control technique and the pest elimination finger. Wait for me to gain entry level.
Yunjin said. One moment, Yue Zhao saw her digging away with a hoe. The next, she was pulling worms from the soil and staring them down, eye to eye. Altogether, it lasted no longer than a cup of tea. She told him she also learned both techniques. Yue Zhao smiled.
With junior sister's talent, that's only normal?
Haha, normal. My ass. Right now he just wanted to go back to sleep and see if this was just a dream.
Eldest senior brother, I also innovated these 2 techniques. Come take a look.
Yunjin similarly fused new simplification paths and suggested eagerly.
All right.
Yue Zhao replied somewhat dazed, and so. He saw Yunjin use the soil control technique, and the once gentle soil suddenly surged like a giant wave. Sharp spikes shot up from the ground in rapid succession, ferocious and terrifying. Then, she shot beams of golden light from each of her 10 fingers. The sheer power was overwhelming. This wasn't for pest extermination anymore. It could kill people with ease. She had taken a pest elimination finger and turned it into the 6 Meridians divine sword.
Eldest senior brother, what do you think of my modifications?
Gang Yunjin looked at Yue Zhao expectantly. Chapter 82. The 5 elements nurture each other. Yue Zhao was silent for a moment before speaking slowly.
I think your modifications are very creative. Next time, if you have changes like this, you could discuss them with master, or second junior, sister, and third junior brother.
Just don't look for him. How many more times could his poor heart take this kind of shock?
But eldest senior brother, you said I'm very creative.
Yunjin replied, eyes curved in a smile.
I like people who praise me, so next time I'll still look for you first.
What? Can you please listen to me? Thank you. Yue Zhao took a deep breath.
These techniques, even if you learned them all, it still wouldn't be enough. Little junior sister, do you understand the habits of each herb? Some like sunlight. Some don't. Some need watering every hour. And some will dissolve if they touch water. These are all things you have to learn systematically. I heard some people are born with an affinity for plants. They can communicate with plants directly to understand their needs. This is just like the affinity for spirit beasts. A talent cultivators could only dream of. Little junior sister, you should.
Yue Zhao stopped himself mid-sentence. After hesitating for a long moment, he finally said,
You shouldn't have that kind of talent, right?
Then, he saw Yunjin give him an incredibly bright smile. Yue Zhao's heart gave a jolt. Why did he suddenly have a bad feeling again?
I don't really understand plant habits and stuff.
Yunjin said a little sheepishly.
But I'm such a cute, kind person. My natural charm is through the roof. These spirit plants should be willing to change their habits just for me, right?
Yue Zhao clamped his mouth shut. Logic told him to refute her. But remembering the cool, refreshing rain she summoned earlier, he decided to observe a bit longer. Carefully, Yue Zhao said,
Then you can try it.
All right.
Yunjin agreed. She first used the soil control technique to loosen the soil, then dumped out a bunch of seeds and tossed them straight into the air. The seeds scattered down across the ground.
Eldest senior brother, do you think this will work?
Yunjing asked. Yue Zhao's expression changed several times before he slowly said,
Just do as you see fit.
He is a transmigrator. He must not become little junior sister's tool for bragging. Yunjing felt a bit regretful. This eldest senior brother is getting too cautious. His emotion points are becoming harder to farm. She sighed, then casted the minor cloud and rain technique. The rain fell and the seeds didn't change at all. No change! At all. Yue Zhao's eyes went wide. Is this heaven's justice? Little junior sister's nonsense is finally not working. Yue Zhao finally found the courage to say,
Little junior sister, you planted spiritual herbs of different attributes together. They'll affect each other. Some spiritual herbs can have positive effects when planted together, but dumping them all together, like this, definitely won't work.
Yunjing nodded in agreement.
Eldest senior brother, maybe the seeds are just in a bad mood and don't want to come out. Why don't I tell them some jokes and see if that works?
Chum. He endured and endured before finally speaking the universal phrase.
Why don't you try it?
Yunjing blinked.
I don't know how to tell jokes. Eldest senior brother, you're better at this. Write me a few jokes and I'll read them.
Yue Zhao felt that Yunjing was already telling a joke right now. But who asked him to be the eldest senior brother? Yue Zhao casually recorded a few jokes from his past life onto a jade slip and handed it to Yunjing. Yunjing checked the jade slip and sat down among the spirit plants.
Planting simplification. Telling jokes to plants every day can keep them in a happy mood and promote growth. Can greatly reduce environmental restrictions for planting. Only effective for Huang-grade spirit plants.
Yunge.
A famous botanist and his disciple were out searching for spirit plants. Suddenly, the disciple asked, Master, what should we do if we encounter a plant we don't recognize? The botanist replied, To avoid that situation, I usually walk in front and stump all the unfamiliar plants to death.
After telling it, no one knew how the seeds reacted. But Yunjing was already laughing heartily.
Eldest senior brother, you're so talented.
Yue Zhao lowered his head. For some reason, he suddenly felt extremely embarrassed. Suddenly, he hates the fact that his memory became photographic after coming to the cultivation world. Even things he had only glanced at in his past life could be recalled perfectly. And today, somehow he became an accomplice to Yunjing's nonsense. Yunjing continued to animatedly recite the jokes, while Yue Zhao could only stare at his toes, hoping this would be over soon. Telling jokes to spirit plants in hope of cheering them up to grow. This was just has. Yue Zhao was mentally complaining. He looked up and froze. Yunjing was sitting in the middle telling jokes. And around her, tiny sprouts of various colors began to grow. The minor cloud and rain technique continued to sprinkle spiritual rain, and these sprouts, like little babies, greedily absorbed the spiritual energy.
Metal, wood, earth, water, fire.
Yue Zhao stared blankly at the 5 different attributes, all growing together in harmony. A strange thought suddenly struck him. Could it be? The coexistence of the 5 elements was the true path. In today's cultivation world, the celestial spirit root was considered the ultimate spirit root, while the 5-element root was deemed the most useless. But was the 5-element root truly useless? Yue Zhao watched as the young sprouts of 5 different attributes absorbed spiritual energy together. The 5 elemental spirit energy intertwining in the air. Under the rain, a rainbow even appeared overhead. And Yunjing sat beneath that rainbow, still telling her jokes. He didn't know if the seeds were laughing, but Yunjing was laughing so hard she was nearly doubled over. Yue Zhao found himself laughing too. This little junior sister of his. She truly never did a single normal thing. But this abnormality was kind of fun. When the rain stopped and the clouds dispersed, Yunjing dried off the moisture from her clothes, patted the dust from herself, and stood up.
Eldest senior brother, it seems the plants are in a much better mood now.
Jing said.
Looks that way.
Yue Zhao replied calmly. Yunjing immediately felt bored. No good. Eldest senior brother's wool couldn't be fleeced anymore. Next target, second senior sister.
Eldest senior brother, create some more jokes for me. I'll have Gu Jinghong come tell them to the spirit plants later.
Yunjing said. Yue Zhao responded very calmly. At this point, nothing in the world could shake his Dao heart anymore. he was already the cold, aloof, handsome man.
These spirit plants seem to be adapting well. From now on, casting the minor cloud and rain technique once a day should be enough, right?
Yue Zhao said uncertainly. Every trade is its own mountain. He knew nothing about botany techniques.
Should be.
Yunjin nodded. She also knew nothing. Surely real botanists did something similar, right? Unknowingly, she must have discovered the true path of a botanist. Meanwhile, having just finished making 5 people practice sword techniques 100 times each, Gu Jinghong received Yunjin's next order from afar.
Go to various medicinal gardens and chat with water, earth, and metal attribute plants. The higher their level, the better, the more spiritual energy, the better.
Gu Jinghong. Chat with plants, and with specific attributes. Is she insane? The thought barely formed before Yunjin sensed it. An instant later, the contract's punishment arrived. Gu Jinghong's face went pale. He no longer dared think more. He could only lament bitterly. Before, he was the madman everyone feared. From now on, he would probably become the lunatic everyone mocked. Chapter 83 Useless for Greater Purposes.
Senior brother Wu, finished 100 times, can we rest now?
A disciple panted heavily, looking like he was about to keel over at any moment. Gu Jinghong lazily glanced at the 5 of them and said,
Scram.
The 5 of them exhaled in relief, and were about to flee in a panicked rush. But then, Gu Jinghong seemed to remember something and casually added,
For the next few days, none of you are allowed to leave Tianxin sect. Be back here at the same time tomorrow.
He really didn't have a choice. After all, Yunjin hadn't assigned him a one-time mission, but a daily quest. The 5 disciples who had just visibly relaxed suddenly froze, their faces turning into expressions of pure despair. This painful torture is still not over. Someone couldn't help but ask, trembling.
Senior brother Wu, what exactly does junior sister Yun want before she'll forgive us?
What are you saying? My master just wants to admire your heroic sword practice. How does that mean she won't forgive you? Don't speak carelessly, or you'll damage her reputation.
Gu Jinghong said. Everyone? All right, fine then. Right now, they felt only one thing. Regret. Truly regret. Why did they go and provoke Yunjin when their days were going just fine? Even Ruan Jun was forced into seclusion by her, and hasn't come out, so what about them? The group dispiritedly left, their heads hung low. Gu Jinghong ignored them. He still had his next task. To go talk to plants. Gu Jinghong hesitated for a moment, then headed toward the sect master's main hall. During these past few days he was contracted by Yunjin as a servant. Not one of his master or fellow disciples came to see him. Not even to say a single word. Thinking back now, Gu Jinghong actually no longer held much resentment toward Yunjin. At the time, he intended to kill Yunjin. The fact that she spared his life, and merely made him serve as a servant for 3 months, was already showing mercy. Maybe Yunjin simply didn't want him to die too easily, and instead wanted to properly torment him. But considering the hatred between them, whatever Yunjin did was justified. But the coldness from his fellow disciples was what made Gu Jinghong feel upset. At the end of the day, what he did was to stand up for his senior brother and junior sister. If his senior brother was still in seclusion, that's fine. But what about Ye Danxia? She didn't feel even a shred of guilt. She even looked down on him now because he became a servant. If it were just a Ye Danxia, that would be one thing. But what about his master? Did he really think he could hide what he was doing from everyone, even from his master? His master had indulged him in doing this. But after the plan was exposed, he chose the little junior sister and gave up on him without hesitation. This, too, Gu Jinghong could understand. After all, he was the one who made the mistake. But after so many days, couldn't his master at least pretend to look at him and say a few comforting words? The sect master's main hall sat at the very center of Tianxing sect, surrounded by 10 towering peaks in the distance, as though guarding the great hall. Within the sect master's disciples had the best resources. The best pills, the best spiritual fields, the best spiritual tools. Even their residences were exquisitely built, a stark contrast to disciples of other peaks, who had to build their own homes. In the past, disciples under the sect master walked with their heads held high, believing themselves above others. But recently, Zhao Wuji had issued an order restricting his disciples telling them to reduce their outings for the next 3 months. Although what he said was reduce outings, the true meaning was not to interact with Yunjin. So, the disciples either went out on missions, or stayed quietly in their own areas, carefully avoiding Heavenly Sword Peak. With the eldest senior brother in seclusion, and the second senior brother bound by contract, these small fries didn't dare provoke Yunjin anymore. Even if the little junior sister cried pitifully with tear-stained cheeks, no one dared show the slightest excess emotion. These disciples were currently cultivating in the open training grounds. Suddenly, someone stammered.
Senior brother Ku.
The others also turned to look. They instinctively glanced around, Gu Jinghong, to see if Yunjin was with him. Seeing she wasn't, they finally let out a slight breath of relief. Gu Jinghong expressionlessly scanned them, then walked straight toward the large patch of spiritual fields in the back. The disciples were momentarily stunned, then began whispering.
Senior brother Gu is under Yunqin's control now. What is he doing here?
No idea. That direction could he be heading toward the spiritual fields?
Damn it! Yunjin must be making senior brother Wu steal spiritual herbs.
Let's follow him. You guys go report to Master.
Gu Jinghong quickly realized a few small tails had attached themselves behind him, but he didn't pay them any attention. He just kept walking. He passed through the residential area, and walked for about the time it takes one incense stick to burn. Up ahead was a vast, fertile field of spiritual herbs. In the field, several disciples who were planting and tending to herbs were busy working, and a senior uncle in the soul transformation stage was personally instructing nearby. Without pause, Gu Jinghong stepped straight into the field. He seemed to have a goal in mind, and went directly toward a certain section.
It's the water element spiritual plant area. Damn, it also has several high-grade Shea-level plants. If he damages them, the losses will be huge.
Destroying spiritual plants of the sect violates sect rules. Would senior brother Wu really do something like that in broad daylight?
Either Yunjing is deliberately making trouble for senior brother Wu, or senior brother Wu's mind has completely snapped after being made a servant. What use is talking about sect rules with someone who's insane?
Master hasn't arrived yet. Quick, inform senior uncle.
A few disciples hurriedly informed the soul transformation stage senior uncle, guarding the herb garden. Ma Hongyu had guarded the herb garden for many years. Now, not only was his cultivation at soul transformation stage, he was also one of the sect's rare 5th-rank botanists. Hearing that Gu Jinghong might want to damage the plants, Ma Hongyu narrowed his eyes and looked over. He heard a bit about Gu Jinghong's situation. He didn't care about anything else, and only wanted to farm in peace. But if Gu Jinghong really touched the spiritual plants, then he would have to act for the plants' sake. Under everyone's watchful eyes, Gu Jinghong suddenly revealed a devilish smile. What now? Is he going to take action? Spiritual energy began gathering at Ma Hongyu's fingertips. Gu Jinghong fixed his cold gaze on a Xue-level water element plant, then opened his mouth expressionlessly. What is this lunatic going to say? Everyone perked up their ears.
Hello.
Gu Jinghong said calmly.
Have you eaten today? Did you eat enough?
Someone said a bit dazed.
Senior brother Gu, is he chatting with the plants?
It seems like it.
Everyone fell silent for a moment, and sympathetic expressions gradually appeared on their faces. After just a few days with Yunjin, a perfectly fine senior brother Wu had already been driven mad. Yunjin's methods are simply unimaginable. Ma Hongyu looked at Gu Jinghong's serious expression and couldn't help but sigh.
As long as he doesn't touch the spiritual plants, just let him be.
Very soon some disciples reported Gu Jinghong's strange behavior to Zhao Wuji. Zhao Wuji was silent for a moment, then said,
Jinghong is probably already driven insane by Yunjin's torment. As long as he doesn't cause any damage, let him do whatever he wants. Don't provoke him unless necessary.
He ordered the disciples to leave. Zhao Wuji narrowed his eyes. Gu Jinghong cultivated the blood qi art. He originally planned to nurture him for future use. But now it seemed that even if the master-servant contract was lifted after 3 months, Gu Jinghong would no longer be of much use. A look of regret appeared on Zhao Wuji's face. Then, Thinking of Ye Danxia, he couldn't help but reveal a gratified smile. Huolie said Danxia is very talented in alchemy. It had only been a few days, and she was already a first-rank apothecary. At this rate, within 3 to 5 years, she might become a first-rank alchemist. If told outside, such speed was already astonishing. Perhaps in the future, she could even go further down the path of alchemy. His decision to protect Ye Danxia was indeed correct.